welcome to Reviews with Love, Christmas edition. So let's get right into the Hallmark movie, A Royal Queen's Christmas. This one's got Megan Park playing Dee Dee and Julian Morris playing Prince Colin. Alright, he's got a really long name, but his first is Colin, so Prince Colin. So, Dee Dee, I believe, is like a music teacher, like in the arts and stuff. So her kids are supposed to be having a Christmas show, and they lost the person that's supposed to be playing the piano for them. So in comes Colin, and he disguises, well, really, they didn't recognize him as the prince. He didn't intentionally try to deceive them, her and her family, but, you know, he went with it. You know, they treated him normal, and he was kind of enjoying that feeling of not always just being the prince. So they just think he's regular old Colin, I believe. Colin. So he plays the piano, and so he kind of comes in and, you know, gets in there to play it for them. So he's been participating in that, and all in all, they're making a great connection, Dee Dee and Colin. But initially, Prince Colin was sent over to New York to, I suppose, to help out with some charities that his parents had cleared for him to, just to have a good look. He's been set to marry, well, really not yet married, but somewhat announce an engagement with his childhood bestie that he's grown up with. But he's really not, which is she's a duchess, but he's really not into her like that, and he's liking Dee Dee, and that creates a bit of an issue. But for his parents, not for the Duchess, because it turns out she's actually interested in someone else. So his parents are thinking about retiring, but you know, so he's got to prepare to take over. But other than that, so that's the main premise. He's gonna be doing the Christmas show, playing the piano, which his parents knew nothing about, and at the same time, he's falling in love with Dee Dee. But his parents aren't really happy about that, because they don't like the look of things, and, you know, this is who, you know, is best for you to marry, all that. So yeah, that's that. My opinion is I liked it. It wasn't bad or anything. There was a bit of a blow up when Dee Dee ends up finding out that Colin is a prince. Turns out her grandmother knew this whole time. She just never said anything. But when Dee Dee found out, she was just like, well, you're a prince, I'm me, and stuff like that. So she didn't see herself as, I guess, on the same level to be with him, because he's a prince and all that. And my only thing about it is that she ends up somewhat kicking him off the Christmas show, like, oh no, you're a prince, that's not something you'll do. But to me, I felt like, well, take your feelings out of it. These kids have worked really hard, and he's, you know, still volunteering his time. He said, hey, I made a commitment. And she's like, oh, was that all this was? And it's like, well, no, it's not. But it's like, you clearly understand what he's trying to say. It's like, I made a commitment to play so that these children can have the best Christmas show that they've been preparing for. So for her to just sort of blow him off and say, no, you're prince, you know, this is, I know she's upset and everything, but I'll think about the kids, and like, fine, you can perform, you know, take your feelings out of that. So to just sort of like kick him off the show and say no, just because he's a prince. Yes, he didn't say the truth and everything, but like I said, it's not just about her. You have to think about the kids in this one. It's like, no, they'll just do it a cappella. It's like, really? Come on now. But yeah, so that was my only thing about their supposed blow up. Wasn't really like a blow up. It was just like how she somewhat, well, no, how she handled it was a bit weird when it came to the kids show. And yeah, he's a prince and he wants to be with you, and yes, he's got obligations and stuff like that, but I don't know. So don't put yourself down along with it. Like, that was just my take on that. But other than that, I liked it. It wasn't bad or anything. Yeah, it wasn't boring, at least in my opinion. It was good. So do check that out for yourselves. A Royal Queen's Christmas. And I think they call it Queens because it's like in Queens, New York. So yeah, I think that's why. But yeah, so Megan Park, Julian Morris, Hallmark Channel. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, watch the other videos, and thank you again for listening. God bless. Later.